Wednesday, Tryon, North Carolina, higher ground on Melrose Mountain. It's beautiful out today. The storm has passed by. The birds that we saw on the floating dock were not geese, but cormorants. They're obviously very close akin because they have webbed feet and do live on lakes, but they were cormorants, and we've looked them up in the bird book. If I were to say to you, coveting other people's property, if I were to say to you, just worshiping houses, cars, and boats, if I were to say sexual promiscuity, and if I were to say to you not only the coveting, but also the problem of people worshiping stars and looking at horoscopes and being all caught up in those kind of things, if I were to say to you those things of God, those people in the ministry, those people that are supposed to be religious, leaving the real form of worship and going towards performance and entertainment. If I were to say to you bad counseling saying that abortion's okay and that promiscuity is okay and homosexuality is okay, if I were to say to you violence, senseless violence, violence directed at innocent people, would that remind you of the world that we live in today? Let me say them again to you. Violence, bad counsel, worshiping where it's really performance and it's entertainment, believing in soothsayers and reincarnation and those kind of things, sexuality, idol worship of cars and houses, and coveting other people's property. Does that describe today? Well, in Ezekiel chapter 8 through 11, there are 7 lessons there. God gives 7 visions. And in chapter 8, verse 5, there's jealousy, which is the equivalent of coveting. There's the elders of the church, the leaders of the church that are worshiping idols. There's the fertility gods, where there are actually temple prostitutes, using the excuse of the spring as being an excuse for sexual activity. There's the people of the church turning their back on the temple and looking to other things. There's the glory of the Lord leaving the temple, where the temple is no longer the place of worship, but rather people are looking to other things for entertainment. There's the evil advice being given in chapter 11, and there's the violence of chapter 11. These things were all indicators of what God said was coming. Are you ready? You see, this is not a feel-good message, but it's a realistic message. All of these 7 signs in Ezekiel were God's indicators why he was going to bring about judgment. Yes, these were indicators of where the hearts of the people were that was going to cause God to bring judgment on the people. So if you are related to those things and you say, I see those things all around me, I see the violence, the senseless violence, the shootings, the muggings. If I see the bad counsel of saying that abortion's okay and homosexuality is okay and sexual promiscuity is okay, if I see people that are turning to celestial worship and all kinds of false cults, if I see sexual promiscuity, and if I see the false idols of this world being worshipped, even by spiritual leaders, and if I see coveting of other people's property, do I see America today? If I do, perhaps what we saw in Ezekiel chapter 8 through 11 is exactly what's coming for America. Judgment. Judgment for the hearts of the people being so far from God. So many indicators that the large population, not just a small minority anymore, but a large population of America has turned from God. And although I live now in the Bible Belt of America, I see it up here. I particularly see it in the violence. I see it in bad counsel. I see it in all kinds of false worship. And as it's starting to happen here, as it already has happened in Florida, church has become entertainment. Church has become a place of performance rather than of true worship. I hope that you'll think about that today. It's your thought for the day.